Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to episode 2 of our Let's Play of Stellaris, featuring the 3.0 patch and the Nemesis DLC, and to a fairly large extent, the Necroid species pack, because I have not played a necrophage race before today. This video is not sponsored, but disclaimer, the first video in the series was sponsored by Paradox. Also, I am technically on a press pre-release version of the game. It may or may not be exactly the same one that you guys get when it goes live, so if there's anything weird going on, it may just be that. So, let's talk about our situation. We're here on the edge of the galaxy, which I think, again, thematically feels really good. In terms of gameplay, what do you guys prefer for your placement? The edge sometimes can be bad, the edge here or in the center over here, either way, because it might limit your exploration routes. On the other hand, it does mean that at least one side of your empire you don't have to worry about defending, right? Because obviously there's going to be no threats from this direction over here. And I guess it comes down to the balance between expansionism and aggression versus defensiveness. Something like that. Let's go. Oh, the other thing I meant to say in the first video, I want to give a shout out to Dean the Dull on Reddit, who wrote like a giant thesis on all things necrophage, which was really great for bringing myself up to speed. And a lot of things that I talked about with our race creation in the previous video was heavily influenced by that. So shoot out to you. And there's, of course, a bunch of great guides on Steam as well that was part of my research. So some things are a little bit different here on this screen. We have this industrial district over here, which is kind of interesting, and they produce alloys and consumer goods, so artisan jobs, metallurgist jobs. We still have the alloy foundry and the civilian industries over here, but both of these are limited to 1 for the planet. So the whole balance with building slots and everything is very, very, very different here with the 3.0 patch. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. First glance, I think I kind of dig it. I think I like the somewhat reduced, but maybe more potent and influential building slots. The other thing, too, is the way population grows in this game will have changed up. It follows some sort of... I don't know how you would describe the curve, but the growth rate sort of ramps up a little slowly, and then as your population grows, it actually accelerates the growth rate until it finally starts to slow down again as you get to the cap of your population. And I think there's also a sort of galactic population modifier as well, just to try to tune things. I think overall our population numbers are going to be a little lower than prior to 3.0, and yeah, a bunch of things are quite different over here. Now, one of the things you're going to know, so most of these are effectively the same, right? City districts gives you a lot of housing and a clerk job. The industrial district gives you a little bit of housing. 2 jobs, one is artisan, one is metallurgist. Generator district, 2 housing, 2 jobs. 2 housing, 2 jobs. 2 housing, 2 jobs. So not too dramatically different. We are starting with a unique building already set up for us on our capital here, the Chamber of Elevation. This is something we're going to be building 1 per planet, or we can build 1 per planet. At some point, we probably will have 1 per planet. Whether or not we rush into building these is going to be an interesting discussion for a little bit. But this is something unique to the necrophages, and this is where we elevate our population from, well, in our case, unchipped to chipped, or from the regular races to a necrophage race. The way this works is you're going to have 3 necrophyte jobs, and these are worked by just regular people. They're not going to be worked by our chipped people. They're going to be worked by unchipped. And they do consume consumer goods. We actually have -5 consumer goods right now. As we'll see, we've got a lot of buildings already set up that are burning through our consumer goods. They use those. They produce unity and amenity, which is actually really good. Our unity rate should be pretty great starting out. And then every 10 years, we have an elevation ritual where all the necrophytes, all 3 necrophytes working in the Chamber of Elevation, will get converted into a chipped. This is how our chip population grows. Well, there's this, and there's also necropurging, which actually we could take a look at. Yeah, we can totally see that. If we look at our species over here and take a look at the rights, if we were to switch the citizenship of this species from slaves to undesirables, they would start purging, and by default, we are going to use the necrophage purge type. And what it does is it should convert these people to necrophage. And it happens very quickly, much faster than the Chamber of Elevation, with just 3 people every 10 years. Later on, I believe we'll get an upgraded version of it that does 6 people every 10 years. So it's still a slow progress. Whereas the purging does a lot of people much, much, much faster. Obviously, it consumes, all of that race, but that might be fine to increase our chip count quite a bit early. Now, one of the things that happens when you convert any population to your necrophage, when we chip anyone, it is going to give us a diplomatic balance with everyone. It will be put under I think they call them suspicious disappearance, because the idea is, you know, some population of one race has disappeared, and all of a sudden all these necrophage people are there. You know, with us, theoretically, the way we flavored it, the people are still there. They just have a computer chip in their head, and their entire personality has been replaced. And that's where the suspicion comes from, right? All of a sudden, people are acting completely differently and have been elevated to this ruler caste, and there's something weird going on. So we get diplomatic malices with that. As such, what I think I want to do, I think I would like to very early on, before we actually get in proper contact with anyone, do some necropurging. We should, instead of having 2 normal habitable worlds near our capital, we are going to have 2 worlds inhabited by primitives instead. That's a necrophage special thing. I want to, excuse me, apparently I took a sip of water wrong before I started recording this. What I want to do is, and I don't know if this is like good or optimal or anything. I have no idea. You know, it's our first time playing the necrophage, but I'm going to want to necropurge potentially the first race we find. The first primitive race, we're going to conquer them with a couple of assault armies, and I think I'm going to purge them right away so that we can increase our chip count a little bit faster. It may depend on what traits the species have, because it will be a wholesale replacement, right? They don't just get the necrophage like trait or something like that. It does completely replace them with our chipped species, and our chipped species is really good. So if these guys end up being crap, then we will go and give them, we'll chip them. If they turn out they have really good slave race traits, we might keep them around. So theoretically, we should find 2 of them fairly early on. We do start with a science ship, and we've got a scientist. Archaeologist trait, not terribly valuable, which is unfortunate, but I guess it'll do. We'll survey in that direction. So I'm going to try to survey outwards to see, you know, we're looking for bottlenecks. We're trying to claim as much early territory as we can, which is something I enjoy quite a bit. Let's grab our construction ship and squint mode engage right over here. Petra 4A. We're going to build a mining station there. I really like to build a mining station first, so that we can get more minerals for everything else. We have exactly enough for that. I will want more science ships, but it's going to cost us 200 energy to recruit someone, so we'll have to effectively wait 5 months. The science ship takes not very long, maybe a month? 2 months to build that. So we could optimize the timing. Most likely I'll sort of miss the window in there. But yeah, let's go back over here and talk about the other buildings. We've got that. We've got the administrative office. Bureaucrats consume consumer goods into administrative capacity, which we really don't need right now, because obviously sprawl is not currently a problem. Research labs, again, consumer goods turned into science. And then finally a temple, consumer goods into science, unity, and amenities. So that's why we have the -5 over here. What I was thinking is, if we look over here, we've got room for 3 artisans. We've only got 1 artisan right now. I was thinking we would deprioritize the bureaucrats, possibly completely. And yeah, they'll go to other jobs. One of them became an artisan, one became something else. I don't know, whatever, that's fine. Which will give us more. It doesn't update this number until the end of the month, but each one of these is producing at 5.7. So we should no longer have a consumer. Actually, we still will, because our deficit is actually 5.75. So we'll have a tiny deficit of consumer goods, but mostly it's going to balance itself out. So we're going to do that. I don't know what our first building on this planet will be. Honestly, well, I was going to say we might end up building the consumer goods, or the civilian industry here for more consumer goods, but we can just add another industrial district. So I don't know what our first building is going to be. We're not going to worry about it. One of the things I hope I don't forget, because I'm really bad about doing this, is prioritizing clearing away the sprawling slums as quickly as possible. And what's nice about this one, clearing the sprawling slums always gives you a population, but here it's specifically going to give us a chip population because it's our primary species. And that's fantastic because, again, generating chipped population is something that's going to happen very slowly, right? Right now we're getting 3 per decade, and that's it. So anything we can do to accelerate that's going to be nice. So hopefully when I got 300 energy kicking around, I'll remember to do that. Probably I won't. It'll probably be, you know, we'll probably have like 700 energy and they'll be like, oh shit. So I apologize in advance for the fact that that's probably going to be the case. Let's set up our science. Okay, for physics, well, I think I'll grab the research station output. We don't have very many research stations right now. Literally just 1 that's producing 3, so the 10% there. I mean, so it's not too much, but it will add up. I like to grab things that boost our science right away. Energy grid's quite good, but I don't think we need to build it instantly. Fusion reactor, obviously we're going to want it for our ships later on, but we don't need it instantly. So the 0G laboratory seems like it's a pretty easy choice over there. For society, I think we're going to grab planetary unification. We actually should be generating a fair amount of unity right now, because we've got all the extra job types that are producing unity, plus excuse me. Plus, we've got a few modifiers to Unity as well. So, but, you know, more is better. Unlock some extra edicts, which is fine, I suppose. But yeah, we don't need the soldier stuff, and we don't really need the food, although it would give us something else to sell, which isn't bad. But yeah, we'll grab planetary unification. And for engineering, probably the nanomechanics for the research. Although the extra minerals early on is nice, but I tend to really favor the tech boost early on, because it's say snowballs. I mean, really everything snowballs. We do have our Empire Sprawl is existent now because we did pull some bureaucrats out, but I think it's still the right thing for us to do. Maybe I could have just pulled one bureaucrat out. No, I'm kind of okay with this. We get a slight increase in the cost for tradition adoption. The technology cost plus 0%. I mean, it's probably exists, but it's like less than 1%. So I think it's better to have the consumer goods. And with that, I think we can pause. Let's do it. Increase to fastest speed? Sure. All right. So we've got neighboring stars, Aesir, Terrabellum, Mili, Damia. Okay. Construction ship is construction shipping. Science ship is science shipping. Yeah, I can probably just queue up the other science ship right away. Because it'll line up pretty well. Hopefully we've got a good scientist. Ideally what we want is the one that gives you the plus 10% chance to find an anomaly. Construction complete. So I think next I'm going to queue up the research station. And new science ship has come in. Alright, leaders, go! Ah, perfect! Meticulous! Plus 10% chance to find anomalies. That's exactly what we're looking for. Because we want to find as many as early as possible. I guess I'll send you here, and then there is going to be the idea. And then there, and then, yeah, just keep sort of surveying down this branch. That's going to be okay. We'll want a third science ship fairly early as well. Hopefully we can get the automated surveying early, and then I'll just build like 10 science ships and just get them to go crazy. Because it's going to be really nice. I think, so one of the things to decide is, are we going to run, well, okay, we're going to have to talk about, what's the button I'm looking for? Society management. I think we're going to go Discovery. And the Map the Stars Edict, I think we're going to start that pretty soon. It does cost, a fair amount of influence, but I think it's going to be a good investment, especially since early on, you're going to be a little bit more limited by, say, alloys, for example, for your expansion. I mean, we're always going to be short on influence, but I think the Map the Stars is going to be really nice. Speaking of, I'm going to pop Discovery. So there's a few good early ones. I don't know if expansion's as important. The colony development speed and the +1 colonist isn't going to matter so much for our first two quote-unquote colonies, because we're just going to be conquering primitives. So there's a little less incentive. That being said, Starbase influence cost is really good. Empire Sprawl reduction is really good. The upkeep is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then when we finish it, we get a whole extra district everywhere, which is, I mean, it's pretty sexy. We could still consider getting it, but I was looking, Harmony's actually got like a uniquely themed option in here, Unity of Self. I think that's the only thing in here that is specifically a necrophage. But whenever we necrophage pops, we get presumably some sort of burst of Unity. It's not really described. For all I know, it's going to turn out to be crap and pointless, but I usually like to grab something that is like themed for a particular pick, just because. But we'll start with Discovery. Anomaly research speed plus 20%. Won't matter right now. It'll be nice later on, because I'll mostly be skipping some anomalies just to get more exploration done. Although, will I? I would ideally like to delay surveying until I've actually got Map the Stars going. And the reason for that is it'll give us the extra anomaly find chance. So I kind of almost want to not survey too much before then. So if we find any anomalies, we might just pop them right away. What is this? Oh, our precursor. Found right away. Ancient civilization. Active in this region 12 million years ago. Our scientists theorize these aliens call themselves the Voltum Star Assembly. Worm-like annelids. 3 to 4 meter in length. I'm trying to remember if I know anything about these things. I don't know if I have. We seem to get the Cybrex all the time, if I recall correctly. It feels like it's like heavily weighted that way. Remnants. Alien remnants with some apprehension. I mean, we are xenophobes, so it is a little bit scary. Oh, shoot, that was quick. Oh, okay, alright. It's because we haven't actually found a real alien species yet. Like, we haven't found another empire. But we have confirmed that life exists in the galaxy. And we are going to have to make our first choice over here, including a new policy tweak with the first contact protocol over here, which is going to have a big impact. The game is very different how the first contact works now and how you get communications with other races. Because normally you would meet something, it would show up in the situation log, you know, beta aliens or whatever. You just click this, you'd spend a little bit of society research, and then, oh, you'd have communication. Now it's very different. You send an envoy, and it works a lot more like archaeology, for example. Multi-steps, you know, amount of time for each tick and percentage chances for things to go a certain way. It very much an archaeology vibe, and I think it makes the first contact feel a lot more significant as opposed to just I'll push a button and we'll get communication. But we have to choose our stance. Now, we can't go open arms, first contact protocol, which would be nice. It would get more influence from initiating the first contact, but I think because we're xenophobes, it's not allowed. It doesn't say in that tooltip, but I suspect over here, yeah, it's because we're xenophobes. We can't proactively start first contact. But I'm not going to go aggressive either. Yeah, we can immediately attack neutral entities, enables hostile first contact options such as abduction and dissection, so we can capture aliens and learn from them that way as a way to set up initial first contact. Again, our species, the chipped here, we have learned... I wonder what our old school name was. It's been lost to time. We're just the chip now. We have learned that we have to disguise our ambitions to destroy all life in the galaxy. So we're going to go down the cautious route over here. So it will make our rolls harder for first contact. So a lot of times... So what's going to happen if both we and they send an envoy and try to set up first contact, they may often succeed before we do because our rolls will be harder, assuming they're proactive over here, which means they'll get the influence instead of us, I think. But okay, that's fine. But we'll do this. We won't attack neutral allies, but you know, other nations will also find it harder to establish communication with us, I guess. Negative first contact events are less likely to happen to us because we're being careful, right? We're hopefully not overextending too much, and hopefully we won't get caught and dissected. So we're going to say it's wise to be cautious, which we'll just set that. It's literally the same as setting this, but I like that there's a pop-up because it would have been very easy to miss that this is a new feature in the game. Or even if you know about it, forget it. You know, when you start a game, you're like, you've gone... I mean, not that I would ever forget to click a button, you guys, but, you know, imagine I'm on episode 5 of a series. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud, I forgot to set this. Maybe I'd remember after meeting the first people, but still. I like that there's a pop-up. All right, so construction ship. Maybe we'll just park you over here, I guess. That's going to be fine. Okay. But I want to wait. Yeah, we're going to wait for 100. I think it's 150 influence. Edicts? Oh, it's 170. It really is delaying this first starbase. But I really like the idea of getting this map the stars as early as possible for the 10% anomaly discovery chance. Because some of the anomalies are really powerful. Even if we get a weak one. Oh, just plus 2 extra science. Okay, and that still seems pretty good to me. Know what I mean? So maybe I'll move you here. Heck, I could just move you over here, just to uncover some extra borders. Finish surveying this one, that's fine. That's not a very sexy system, I gotta admit, with just the 4 science. Obviously, we have to expand to it, but it's not a big deal. Maybe Acer will be better. It's at least got some energy, which is kind of nice early on. So I'll just be ready there, but I'm not going to spend... I've never done this before. But... Oh, and we get a new tradition as well, which is going to increase our survey chance more. Disengage with science chips so they can stay alive a little bit longer. Yeah, we're going to go to Boldly Go, and we're going to go down Edicts, Map the Stars. Oh, something I didn't check. I meant to check. Who's our leader here? What do you got? Prime Consciousness? Starbase Module, upgrade, Edict cost. Well, I mean, I guess the Edict cost already saved us a little bit. Could be better. Could be better as a leader. What about our Governator over here? Okay, discount to buildings and districts. That's not too shabby. Don't mind that. What are our initial scientists like? No maniacals or spark of genius or anything. That's too bad. That's too bad. Okay. So not the greatest roll with our leaders, but that's going to have to be fine. Okay, so now we can go back to surveying because we've got the edict, which is going to increase our. And you over here. I think we were still surveying the system. Let me just make sure. Survey, Q. Yeah, survey, which I already did, so that's a bit moot. And then we'll queue up some moves over this way. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. This looks a little... I mean, we have a trinary system over here. It's a little bit like Orion and Orion's Belt. I mean, obviously it should be 3 separate stars, but I'm getting that kind of vibe, or it's sort of an hourglass, because the galaxy's time is limited. Listen, let me have... Hello! We found our first primitive species in the Hizar system over here. We could build an observation post and get a crap ton of society research. But we're going to conquer them is what's going to happen. Now, I think it has to be within our borders to conquer. So we still got to wait. Yeah, it's disconcerting. New primitive creatures. Sense of unease permeates the public debate. No kidding. Establishing a chipped hegemony. We'll see what we can do. I might still grab the system first.
An unusual phenomenon.
I'll leave that. That's going to take too long. We'll wait until we've leveled up, which should happen fairly quickly. We are quick learners. We've got the 25% boost. Nice. I'm not used to getting... Do we always get leader level pop-ups? Maybe? I'm trying to remember. No, it stood out. I don't think I'm used to... Do we always get them for like all of our scientists and things? Maybe we do. I know we get them when they develop new traits and stuff. Okay, these... A lot of high-level anomalies, which will be good and valuable later on, presumably. But it's a little bit unfortunate right now that we don't get like some little cheaper ones to just kickstart things. I think we'll get the database uplink, databank uplink, just to get the research station output, mostly. Now, it also unlocks research subsidies. Which one is that one? Increase the upkeep of researchers by 1 energy, but gives us 10% more research output. Okay, that's probably one we'll want. It is pretty expensive, and we have to do some expansion, so we may not rush it. But it's one we will run in the long term. Is that really all that's in the system? I mean, eventually there'll be more. Alright, never mind. Come back over here. It's not like we wasted time, because we didn't have the influence anyway. We'll grab this one first, so that we can go and grab our primitive system next. I've got a bunch of money. I think... Let's get 2 more science ships. Since we do have our policies that make us, you know, survey faster and get the extra anomalies, I think it'll be quite good to have a few more. I like that. Hopefully we can get automated science in the not too distant future. You can research that now. It's, you know, you're not over leveling it, but it's going to be okay. Experience gain, cheaper. No, we'll go for the extra experience gain. That's actually quite valuable. Maybe I'll go and check the systems behind us, just to say. Usually I like to prioritize expanding outwards first. We gotta wait one more tick. There it is. But I'm gonna see what's nearby. Especially, we really want to research everything within 2 jumps of us. So 1 or 2 jumps to find the second primitives. So it could be here, 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 or here. There's only 4 places left, I think, where the primitives can be. Assuming I'm right, I think it's within 2 jumps. Another science ship. Well, I mean, this doesn't really matter. Oh, you're quite young. You'll have a much... You know, you have a lot more time, an extra 15 years, to use your higher level. Okay, we'll grab the younger one on that basis, and then we're going to send you off in this direction. We'll get you to check out a black hole over here. Asteroid fauna. Oh, society research. Excellent. Well, that's over here. Alright. Well, let's go and make the research lab right away. And sure, we'll research that one now. We might get some flat science out of some of these, which wouldn't be bad as kind of an early boost. Now, our capital, -1 available job. Wait, what? Oh, it's because of the limiters I put in. Really? But there's no unemployment. If I restore... Okay, now there's just 1 empty job. Okay. I guess people were still working it, but as a lower priority. I guess it's a hint to say you're now working low priority jobs. Oh, we found our second primitive. Okay, right over here. We'll definitely leave that one till later. Magnetic reversal. Oh, this was one of the level 1 anomalies we got, just giving us a boost of physics research, and a pretty small amount of that, but I guess it's okay. Wow, we're finding all the high-level anomalies. Look at that! They better be valuable AF. Okay, yes, we're going to move over here. We've got tons of minerals, which is what we need to build our military. Man, we're getting so much unity, it's crazy. I'm going to keep going down Discovery. I mean, when we finish it, it's 10% more research speed, which is good. Plus, there's costs for unlocking new things. The scientist level cap doesn't matter too much. Oh, actually, I'm quite curious. What are our level caps right now? So if we take a look at our scientists, if we go and mouse over here, So 2 of 7. Now 10 is the hard cap. So if we do this, it should now say 2 of 9. Oops. There you go, 2 of 9. So if we can get another +1 to our level cap, these guys will be able to reach all the way up to level 10. What's our governor's level cap? He's already at a cap of 9. Okay. What about our Empire's leader? 2 of 7. And then a scientist here the same as the other scientists. Okay. All right, that's good. We would like to get them all the way up to level 10 at some point. I mean, we've got a long way to go before they like earn enough XP to get close to that. Is that the second anomaly in the system? I mean, the first one just gave us a little bit of flat sciences, which isn't that exciting. Hopefully we can get something a little bit more persistent and long-term. We'll see. Anyway, with that, I think we're good to put in a cut. We are going to go and claim these 2 systems here. At some point we'll need another constructor ship, but not quite yet, because right now we're still going to be pretty capped on material. One's going to be able to keep pace. We'll drop over there, and I'm hoping we necropurge one. Again, I'm not sure if this is the correct thing, but my plan is to try to necropurge one before we meet anyone else, so that no one knows it was done. Because it's a pretty big malice. It's a fairly... You also get a malice from the automatic conversions from our unique building, but I think it's less. I think there's some slightly different amount that you get if it's a purge versus it's the conversion kind of thing. And one of the things, if we end up with a lot of planets, we may actually not want to build the elevation thing on all of them, because we might just start to generate too many negative modifiers. And we've got to keep... Theoretically, the idea is we're going to keep a certain amount of diplomacy, even if it's just neutral at best, just to start off with, because that's how we're role-playing it, but also it might be very smart. We'll see. Thanks for watching, folks! I'm going to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.